What's good, y'all? Akeal Senpai here. We are back with another video, and yes, guys, look, a new setup. Yeah, I decided to just move some stuff around in my room, although me being here is really temporary, to be honest. I'm going to be traveling the world and everything. But anyways, in this video, guys, you guys see the title, you guys know what's up. Why I don't get sick anymore. And you know, overall, this is going to be kind of like an esoteric video. In other words, a video or just going to be full of information a lot of people really don't tell you about, or you just usually don't hear about in general. But anyways, you know, I would just like to get into this video by saying thank you guys for all the love and support so far and all the huge growth you guys have been giving me in these videos and just overall loving my content. Be sure to keep up by, you know, subscribing, and overall just stay tuned for the huge consistency that is underway, guys. But anyways, you guys see the title, you guys know what's up. Once again, you know, why I don't get sick anymore. And you know, just a little bit of a background, you know, with my history of being sick or anything like that. I used to have allergies, you know, I used to get sick, you know, I wouldn't say frequently, but there would be times, you know, especially during the winter season as this is like approaching and everything. So I think this is a really great time to make this video. And you know, I used to get sick a lot, you know. Again, I wouldn't say frequently, but you know, a good amount, like I guess what some people would call a normal amount. But you know, with all this being said, why don't I get sick anymore? And you know, I'll start off, you know, getting into this with just like multiple things. I'll give some examples and everything like this. And you know, a couple years ago, I kind of came across certain videos and everything like this talking about the reality of, you know, the diets that we eat and everything like that. You know, especially within the Western world, we usually tend to eat a lot of acidic foods with a lot of sugar, and foods that are really heavily processed. So with this being said, you kind of have to have the mindset of what it means to have an acidic, like a primarily acidic versus a primarily alkaline diet. And you know, just to touch up on that a little bit, you know, I made videos in the past, but I will be talking about more of that, you know, whole thing in the future as well. But essentially, when you have an acidic diet, you're more prone to having much more diseases. And you know, within an acidic environment, you're more prone to having diseases and many other ailments. Versus when you have an alkaline diet, when you have an more primarily alkaline diet, you know, this goes into the whole pH balance scale, and you know, the middle being 7, and anything below 7 is considered acidic, anything above 7 is considered alkaline. But you know, when you have a slightly more alkaline, you know, pH balance, and let's say a 7, so you're just in that medium range, you're more or less likely to get any ailments at all. In fact, cancer and many other ailments cannot survive under an alkaline environment, you know, and you kind of take this into consideration with certain cleaners that we use and everything like that. Certain cleaners we use are essentially going to be like high levels of alkalinity or basic, and this is why they clean and cleanse a lot of things. But this is, again, just for a whole nother video. But that's just something to take into consideration, guys. Some foods that are considered acidic that we eat in our day-to-day lives, you know, within the Western world, are going to be things such as like foods that are carb-heavy foods, such as like rice, or it's going to be things like bread and a whole bunch of sugar and everything like this. Versus, and you know, although there are some starches that are alkaline, such as sweet potatoes and I believe wild rice, there's also you know, some acidic foods as well that are also beneficial, such as apple cider vinegar. But this is like kind of like a whole different thing, you know, especially like when it comes to citrus foods outside of the body are considered acidic, but inside the body they have an alkalizing effect. And you know, this is why it's really beneficial if you guys are going to go outside in an alkaline diet. You could still incorporate these things into your diet, and it's still very beneficial. But some alkaline foods you guys can eat in your day-to-day life that is heavily beneficial are going to be foods such as, you know, generally your fruits and vegetables. So things like, let's say, something that's alkaline, once again, citrus, because it's alkalizing inside the body but not outside. But you know, it could be citrus fruit. It's going to be dark leafy greens. It's going to be, you know, some people say carrots are not considered alkaline, but you know, it's just a whole bunch of things. Honestly, you know, you can even make a tonic, believe it or not, with apple. Yes, you can use apple cider vinegar, and you can mix it with baking soda. And I only say this because apparently you're not supposed to take baking soda like just by itself. You're supposed to have something that kind of like counteracts it a little bit, because I guess it's just like too potent. But yeah, you know, some people use molasses as well, and that helps. But yes, so that is just one reason why I don't get sick. You know, there's another reason to this, obviously. And you know, just this is something that's really key to keep in mind, especially for those that may be having like kind of like a bad diet or anything like this, but they seem to not really see like kind of a correlation between their diet and their health, you know, in terms of how sick they get or whatever. You know, one thing to really stay away from as well is dairy. Like, this is why like a lot of people may not have dairy when they're sick, because this is why you get like all phlegmed up and everything like this, because dairy is heavily acidic, and this causes more mucus in the body and everything. And you know, some other foods, once again, are alkaline, are going to be things like let's say peppers, or many other things like watermelon or anything like this. And you know, one thing you tend to realize when you have foods like cayenne peppers or anything like this, they tend to help you like clear you out of any mucus or anything like this. And you know, this is very beneficial, just a natural remedy, I guess, to keep in mind. But you know, some other things, some other supplements that I take, guys, are going to be things such as black seed oil. It's going to be oregano oil, although I wouldn't take this every single day. And you know, there's just many other things I can make different videos on. But yeah, that's just one of the reasons why I don't get sick. Listen. Alright, and you know, just to another thing I would like to add in this video is the fact that this, you know, this whole, you know, pH balance thing is also really important to keep in mind if you guys struggle with allergies when allergy season comes around and anything like this. This is another reason why my allergies stopped acting up as well. I just haven't had any problems with this in a very long time, just because I've been aware of this whole thing. And you know, just getting into the second reason, and I guess the final reason why I don't get sick anymore or anything like that, is essentially, you know, much like I talked about in my previous video, you know, change your narrative. This goes into what story you guys are telling yourself over and over again. And, you know, I know it sounds a little esoteric, it sounds a little weird and everything like this, but believe it or not, your mind has a huge effect on the state of your body and everything like this. And you know, this goes into the whole placebo effect, and you know, with setting your intentions and everything like this, especially when it comes to manifesting something. And you know, just like some examples, I guess, you know, when it comes to this, like for example, there would be people, you know, growing up and everything like this, they always just like came about, like when it comes to people getting sick and everything like this, they just had the mindset that they don't get sick, or people would say that they don't get sick and they would agree with that, and because of that, they naturally don't get sick. And you know, some, you know, this is just another example. You know, like my sister, for example, would have this mindset, you know, I just don't get sick, you know, so you would never see her get sick. And another example would be, for example, like Gary Vee, for example. But Gary Vee, you know, I watched a video recently, and you know, although I knew about this from another like word of mouth and everything like this, but apparently he hasn't gotten sick either in about over 10 years. And you know, this goes by like with a whole bunch of other people's philosophies and everything like this. A lot of this is in a lot of people's minds, you know, but essentially he hasn't gotten sick in over 10 years, just for the simple fact that he just doesn't believe that he gets sick. And although he didn't really like understand this at the time, but even like as a young kid, you know, going to school and everything like this, when he would go to school and maybe not even want to go to school, he would force himself to get sick by just believing that he was sick. And you know, it wouldn't just be like a little like cough here and there or whatever, but he would literally like, he'd say he would go through like body temperature changes, and you know, his stomach would get upset and a whole bunch of stuff. So this kind of just gets into the whole idea that really it goes by what story you guys are telling yourself. A lot of people may have like a weird cough or something that may never go away, and you know, some people may go to doctors or whatever, and they can't seem to figure out what is wrong with them. But once they start believing that cough is gone or whatever, they realize that it was just all in their head all along. So this, once again, just gets into what story we're telling themselves. This not only gets into you know, us wanting to be sick or not, but this just goes into our day-to-day lives. What story are you guys telling yourself about your gains in the gym, about your progress, how you do or how you perform in this certain thing, whether it be math or any other subject, any other thing, you know, once again, any hobby, anything like this, how good you are or how good you are compared to this person. This is really, really important to keep in mind. And, you know, I have a video you guys can keep in mind when you're done watching this video, and it's going to be either an annotation above, or I'm not sure where that would be, but you guys may see it under related or in the description down below. But anyways guys, I really do appreciate all the love and support. Once again, you guys have been showing in all my videos. I will continue to stay consistent, and I'm having a lot of fun doing these videos, guys. I will see you guys in the next video, and peace.